Thank you very much for inviting me.
Now, so what's happening? Reports coming out from Chiefs that they won't be releasing their players. Will this happen?
This is a very unfortunate situation for South African football. But when we agreed to host this tournament from the onset, we knew that this is not like a FIFA-sanctioned tournament. And as such, clubs are not compelled to release players for this particular tournament. So maybe Gordon expected to use his persuasive skills to make sure that clubs release players for this tournament.
But then wasn't there an agreement between the PSL and Safa that clubs will release the players for the Chan tournament, except for the clubs that will be participating during the tournament will be playing their league games during the tournament?
Yeah, it's a catch-22 situation. Kaizer Chiefs initially agreed to release players, but there's an exclusive interview that SABC had with the football manager of Kaizer Chiefs, Bobby Mutaung. He insisted that his club won't release players because it was before Gordon Igasend announced his team. We know that he announced his team yesterday. And Kaizer Mutaung, he sits on the Safa emergency committee. And according to the statement released, it's a joint statement released by both Safa and the PSL. The statement says the two organizations, they've reached an amicable solution to say clubs will release players for this said tournament. But unfortunately, this morning, Kaizer Chiefs, through their website, they've released a statement insisting that, it's Bobby Mutaung again, insisting that the club won't release players. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Now, talking about that exclusive interview, it was last week when the interview happened. But now, why would Gordon Igasend, already having an idea that Chiefs will not be releasing the players, was he taking chances? Or what was his thought or coming to this match? I mean, he released the players yesterday. He announced the team yesterday. And then Kaizer Chiefs have already been insisting that they won't be releasing players. But why would he then announce those players?
I listened to what Gordon Igasend said in his media conference yesterday. He said he had a one-on-one meeting with all the affected clubs, Kaizer Chiefs, Mamelodi Sundowns, and all the clubs, that have players in this particular squad of 23. Unfortunately, the squad has to assemble on the 2nd of Jan to start preparing for the tournament that kicks off early in January. I don't know what's going to happen because Chiefs, they insist that they're not going to release their players. We all know that there's that top of the league clash with Mamelodi Sundowns. And the game was supposed to be played on the 28th initially. But the match has since been shifted to the 23rd to try and give, both teams, because they've got, a total of 11 players in this 23-man squad to have ample time to prepare for that match. So I think we're heading for a problem.
Heading for a problem, so we know that in the past, if such a situation arose, I mean, the players would then be released from the team, and the coach would then have to bring in other players into the team. Now, mentioning that they have to assemble by the 2nd and looking at the time frame now, do you think they might reach an amicable solution between the two parties? Maybe to say, you know what, let's release only a few players and maybe continue with a bunch of players.
But I think, we can maybe blame Kaizer Chiefs to say, why can they do that to the national team? Probably they are not patriotic enough. But we all know the rules, Debo. If this competition is not FIFA sanctioned, clubs are not compelled to release players. Gordon was supposed to plan appropriately to say, this is not like your main Africa Cup of Nations level. This is just a tournament, with due respect. We've got a lot of players in the PSL. Why 6 key 6 players from Kaizer Chiefs, 5 from Mamelodi Sundowns? I mean, we've got clubs, Lebu, who won't be playing during the Chan tournament. Why not include players, maybe 2 from each of the teams that won't be playing? I mean, we've got quality players in the PSN, who can compete in this Chan tournament.
Sfiso, thank you very much for joining us. And that was our SABC sport reporter, Sfiso Ramara, giving us some insight on the matter involving Kaizer Chiefs and the South African Football Association in regard to the tournament that will be taking place in January. Now it is time for the weather with Magdel Erasmus.
Well, it is the festive time of the year, and although we will not see a white Christmas here in South Africa, we will surely see quite a few thunder showers. Now, if you take a look at our satellite loop, we can already see quite a few popping up here across Namibia, and there's also a lot of convective activity across the central parts of South Africa. So, forecast for this afternoon, scattered thunder showers all the way through those regions and widespread showers there in that darker shade of blue, and that's also where there is a watch for heavy rainfall. South African Weather Service issued that watch. But otherwise, clear conditions all the way along the west coast for tonight and for tomorrow as well. We are also expecting a bit of fog for tomorrow along the coast of Namibia, but otherwise still isolated to scattered thunder showers throughout most parts of southern Africa, but dry conditions there across the southern regions of Mozambique. Now, if you take a look at your temperatures, you can expect a pleasant evening throughout the northern regions with the minimums around the upper teens and the lower 20s. Here, warm conditions here along the coast of KwaZulu-Natal, and tomorrow as well, a lovely warm day throughout South Africa, but a little bit cooler across the high veld of Mpumalanga. And then further south, also another hot day across the Little Karoo and there in Uppington as well, with a daytime high of 34, but mild conditions there in East London with a maximum of 24. Now, over the southern parts of Namibia, warm conditions along the coast as well, with hot over the interior and a few thunder showers, of course. And then for the central and northern parts, a little bit cooler, as you can see in Tsumeb, a maximum of 26, and that's mainly due to overcast conditions. Now, for Botswana, we're also expecting a warm evening and a hot day for tomorrow, around 34 degrees in Francistown, Maun peaking at 33, as well as Ganzi. And then for Zimbabwe, also a few thunder showers across the northern and western parts, and along with that, a pleasant day. Over the northern parts of Mozambique, also lots of rain, especially around Pemba and Lichinga, but then warmer conditions there along Kuala with a daytime high of 33, and then for the Comores, also cloudy and with showers and warm conditions with that. For the Seychelles, also rain in the forecast with a daytime high of 29 around the Ina Islands, and then further south, mostly cloudy conditions for Madagascar, Reunion and Mauritius, and we're also expecting a few showers for Saint Denis and Port Louis. Over the southern parts of Mozambique, rain in Beira and a warm day at 31, just partly cloudy in Inhambane with a maximum of 30 degrees, and also showers over the southern parts of Mozambique. And then by Thursday, still scattered thunder showers there across the northern parts of southern Africa and the south and southeastern parts of South Africa, with isolated showers across Zimbabwe and Mozambique. But that's your weather forecast for now. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much, Magdo. Beautiful weather seems to be going to be all over the region tomorrow morning for Christmas Day. Of course, stay tuned for more news after the break. Stay with us.
To Your World on DSTV channel 404. Let's take a look at stories making headlines.
Unfortunately, most of the deaths occur in children in sub-Saharan Africa. And so the original focus and the continued focus of this vaccine is on preventing that disease and death.
What happens when you stop by an official who turns out to be, well, the president?
We're checking license.
Okay.
Is it fine and valid?
This stand is the biggest stand in Nairobi show. Of course, we have won the best foreign private exhibitor.
And that was Your World on SABC News, 404 on DSTV.
A very good afternoon and welcome to PM News. This is a live broadcast from Studio 9 in our Johannesburg headquarters. I am Alicia Jali here with the latest in your news. Let's take a look at your news making headlines this hour. In our top stories, over 650 people have died on the country's roads since the 1st of December. Fighting in South Sudan is spreading to half of the country's states, misplacing over 81,000 of civilians. And in sport, the club versus country saga has hedged its head again ahead of the Chan Championships next year. Welcome back to PM News. Over 650 people have died on the country's roads since December the 1st. This as thousands of holiday makers are traveling to various destinations for the Christmas and New Year's break.
Several